Hi, Colin here from King Motors. We've decided to put a small video presentation together, RE Nissan Leafs. We've decided to push ourselves really into the EV thing because it is the way the wind is blowing. It's the way of the future. The stuff is so good. And really, I just want to answer some of your questions about them and try and show you what all Nissan Leafs will have, how you charge them all that kind of stuff, rather than having to make a specific video for each car because it's very time consuming. But from there, we will jump into the blue one and we'll have a look around. So starting on the interior, the first thing you notice about it is the fit and finish. It's absolutely fantastic. It's exactly what you expect from a Japanese major manufacturer. Like, everything fits together perfectly. Nothing squeaks, nothing rattles, which is very important in an electric car because it'll drive you wild. Then, like, you've got some nice soft touch sort of leather wrapped dash. Just nice materials laid in everywhere, and everything feels expensive. It feels like a nice quality thing. Then onto the spec that they'll all share, and it's pretty significant. Like, they're crazy in terms of what spec they have. So we'll start at the very start. So we've got heated seats and a USB port down here. We have heated rear seats in all of them. We have a reverse camera in all of them. This particular car, because it's a Tecna, has the 360 camera. From there, we move on to our e-pedal button that's down here. From there, we move across onto this button here, which is our heated steering wheel, lane guidance assistance, you name it, it's all here. The other thing that they all have is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So it's as spec a car as you can possibly expect. As for the back of the car, well, this is my driving position in front of me, and I'm 6'1", I'm over 20 stone. Pleasantly plump, it would be fair to say, and I've absolutely tons of room. I've loads of knee room, I've loads of headroom, all that kind of stuff. The car also has ISOFIX on both sides, and as a bonus, it has ISOFIX in the front passenger seat. They also have an enormous big boot because the architecture for this car was for it to always be electric, so nothing encroaches into the boot. You get a huge usable space. As for the batteries, then you get an 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty on the batteries in these cars that Nissan will service should they ever go below 9 bars. But realistically, in this 40 kilowatts new third generation Leaf, there's very, very little going wrong with them. There's no sort of stuff online about them giving trouble. So I don't really think it's something that you have to worry about necessarily. I know there's a vast amount of tinfoil hattery attached to EVs and just misinformation generally, and people who are just dyed in the wool, they're stuck in the mud, they won't change. That's their problem. I really wouldn't let it influence my decision personally. So your first impressions driving it are that it's super quiet, and it is. But the second sort of most impressive thing about it is it's really quick. Like, it's nippy. It's not quick enough to get you in trouble, and it's not like outrageously fast, but it's quick. It's nice. The thing about these electric cars is it's the way they're able to deliver their power. There's a misnomer out there in so much as your car is 160 horsepower with a petrol or diesel engine. That's its peak efficiency, meaning that at exactly 6,000 revs, it's making that much power. But at 1,200 revs, it could be making as low as 50 horsepower. Whereas with an electric car, it is always delivering 150 horsepower at any point in time. It's instantly there. There's no lag, there's no wait, there's no anything. But then the torque in this is 320 Newton meters of torque, which is just outrageous. It adds to it being a really, just a good, fun city car. Then the other thing about these, which I was surprised by, is that you sit quite high in them. It's not a million miles lower. I don't feel like I'm any lower than if I was driving a Qashqai. So there's a nice driving position in them in that sense. You get some really good vantage over the road. There's also some other pretty impressive features in this car. This car has a thing called e-pedal for regen braking, which effectively means the car will drive, you never need to press the brakes. I think it's unless you need more than 1.3 G of braking force, which is significant. You don't have to press the brakes. There's nothing behind me now, so I'm just going to let my foot off the throttle and we will instantly just start to slow to a complete stop. It's kind of impressive. There's other forms of regen on it too. So you have like a middling level of regen on the car whereby you can just put it into like half of that. It won't come to a stop, but it will regen quite well. It makes it mega efficient when you're driving it around in stop-start city traffic, which is really what it's designed for. The other thing it has though, which is super impressive, and this is specific to the Techno models, and most of ours are Techno. We have Nissan's Pro Pilot. Now that is effectively autonomous driving. Once we're out on the motorway, you just press this button. It keeps lane distance between the cars, so you can set radar cruise on it, and it will steer you between the lanes as you drive. Pretty impressive. The other thing, it can actually go right down to bumper stop-start traffic. You can turn on the Pro Pilot and tell it to follow the car in front of you, and it will. So it's really, really cool in that sense. As for charging these cars, it's pretty simple, really. We just pull up anywhere effectively to an on-street charger. The car will charge at a maximum rate of 50 kilowatts, and most garages and that kind of stuff will have that kind of thing. And it'll do it in about 35 minutes. It'll charge up to 80%. That's all you ever really want to do. And on a 3-pin plug at your house, it'll charge between 6.5 hours and 10 hours. So you can actually just charge it overnight on a 3-pin plug in the garden. It knows when it's full. It will stop taking power when you tell it to. So it's all fine in that sense. It's fully automated. Very, very, very economical. And the other thing that I always maintain about these things, certainly I've become a massive convert to EV just because I like it. It's nicer to drive from a pure petrol head sort of standpoint, which I am. I'm dyed in the wool, love cars. This is quicker than anything like equivalent. It's quiet, it's comfy. I just really like the quirkiness of it as well. I think they're great. I think all EVs are great for those reasons. So I'd struggle to go back to a full petrol car, certainly for my lifestyle. It just suits my lifestyle perfectly. I do very little outside of town. I go to Dungarvan every couple of weeks to my wife's family, but we have another car for that, so it's no hardship for me in that sense. And the next generation of electric cars are going to easily square that circle with bigger batteries and that kind of stuff, so I'm not afraid of it. But with solar technology getting so good and so available and so accessible to your house, it's kind of a no-brainer really now to put a few panels on the roof and run it down into a circuit where it can charge the car. Because however hard I try, I will never manage to grow any petrol or diesel on the roof of my house for free. Now finally, just a little bit about ourselves. We were one of the first ever second-hand dealers to be SIMI registered, and now we're AA approved on top of that. Every car you see here, every Leaf we have advertised will have a full Nissan main dealer service history. Generally they're one owner. They can all come with up to 2 years AA approved warranty with the Nissan warranty applied to the battery. So with all that in mind, thanks for watching. Hopefully I showed you some of the stuff you're curious about, and if I didn't answer it, just call me. I'll happily speak to you, walk you through it, see if it suits you. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Nobody will be offended. But that's it again. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you soon.